So today I'm going to present the GenAI Card Deck. Surprise, it's cards. And it's a set of cards that are specifically designed to facilitate workshops for your clients. So it's a tool that I've been using myself. So it's a tool for consultants and facilitators so that you can facilitate different kinds of GenAI workshops. And there are primary two purposes for the deck. The first one is to educate your clients about the fundamentals of GenAI and especially what a large language model is. And there is a second purpose. And this one is you can use this deck as a brainstorming tool. Okay. I'm going to show you that. So, as a way for your client to explore different opportunities and to imagine these opportunities to incorporate AI into their work activity. Okay, so two goals: learning and brainstorming. One of the key features of this deck is that it is a deck of cards. So it is simple and it's built on a very simple mechanism too, but you're going to see that it's quite powerful. It's really excited because it's not just something I invented like that, it's something I invented for one of my clients. And I've already done several workshops with them, and it works like hell, so well. It's very exciting. What I really like about card decks is that they are low tech. And I don't know if you are familiar with the advantages of using low tech tools in workshops, but the fancy word is kinesthetic, meaning you're using your hands, you touch, you share, you manipulate the cards, uh, and it's collaborative. You would, the way I've done it, I've given a deck for tables of 4 or 5 people, and it really creates a fantastic experience in the room. So let me show you the deck. And I'm going to use, you see that side? I say that because Said trained me into using OBS. And we have a couple of more people joining in. Hello, everyone. Welcome. You just missed the introduction where I was making the praise of the GenAI Card Deck, saying that it's a very simple tool that allows two things: teaching GenAI and brainstorming opportunities to use GenAI. So it's a tool for facilitators and consultants to run workshops with their clients. And I was about to show the way the deck works. So the first thing is that there is this. So this is the mat. Okay, and you see you can fold it so that it's the same size of the other cards. And when you unfold it, you see that it represents a large language model. It's really like a metaphor of the large language model being a black box. Okay. And in the large language models, you have things that get into it, and there is something happening that we don't really understand, and then there are some things that goes out. Okay. The crucial aspect of this deck is that by creating different kind of combination with cards, you will be able to both understand what is a modern large language model, and also you will be able to brainstorm the different combination of cards are going to be the different possibilities for you to use GenAI. So first kind of cards that you're going to have are what goes inside the large language model. So the input cards. Okay. And you have different set of input cards because when I train people to what is a large language model, I start with the simple one. So everybody knows that you can put text as an input. And later in my training, usually in the morning, I explain that in fact, modern LLMs are multimodal. and you can put an image as an input. For example, ChatGPT Vision can take an image as an input and process it and do something else. So the key thing is here, I'm showing you all the cards at once, but in the specific training and workshop that I do, I present them one by one and I make them do some activities and understand the things progressively. So you have these input cards. And when I designed the workshop and we had this conversation in the first co-design session, is that I had to find the right balance between, uh, because the text card, for example, there are many kinds of inputs that are text input. Yeah, it can be an email, it can be a message, it can be a web page, it can be a question. And I didn't want to create one card for each one of that. So I created one that is text. But at the same time, conversation we had last time, I created a specific card for code, even if code is text, in fact, because it's such a different use case that it was worth creating a card. So sensors, images, video, and audio, and also data, which was also a card that we discussed last time. Okay, so that's the input cards. Then, of course, you have the output cards. So the output cards are quite the same. At the basic, you ask a question and you get an answer in text format. So that would be the first card I would show to the participants and when I explain how large language model is working. But of course, when I progress through the training, we have different kinds of output. It can output some code, it can output some audio, it can output some charts, images, videos, and stuff like that. Okay, so these are all the different combination, and just by like that, you could ask them to brainstorm what kind of text input they could have and what kind of text output it could give. And I always give an example that is not straightforward. People think that they give a question and they get an answer, but I tell them that sometimes a great way to use the AI is to give it a topic and it's going to ask questions, generate questions so that you can think about that. So it shows that there are some straightforward ways of using an LLM and there are some more creative ways. Then a lot of people don't understand that there is the large language model and there are the modern chat assistants. And these modern chat assistants have additional capabilities. One of the easiest, the first one that I explain, is web search. So you see here, you have capabilities. So for example, you could ask a question about something and ask it to do a web search to get some more current data so that it gets some up-to-date answers as an output. But of course, through the training, I explain what is data retrieval, RAG. I explain that when it generates image, for example, I take the example of ChatGPT. In fact, it's not exactly the same model that does the job. It goes through an image generation model, DALI, and then it takes your prompt, it processes the prompt to improve it, then it send it to DALI, and DALI send back the image. So you see that just by touching the different cards, it's easier to explain. And don't forget that each one you explain something, the cards, I don't put all the cards on the table of the participant at first. I give them one by one. So it creates a kind of ceremonial. And then this card stays on the table and it creates a kind of reference. So it's much more, from a learning perspective, it's much more efficient because they keep all the information, the nuggets of information as cards on their table. And then in the afternoon, when we do the brainstorming, this is where they say, okay, can we use the data retrieval capabilities to retrieve some of the documents from the enterprise? This way we will be able to blah, blah, blah. So these were the capability cards. So let's say that I'm going to do that and maybe do a data retrieval. So that would be asking a question about a meeting, finding the report of the meeting, and then doing the summary. Okay. And finally, no, two more sets of cards. The other one is, if you follow me, you know that I'm very keen on the DREAM framework. So the DREAM framework, it's an acronym with 6 letters, and each one of the letter is really good use case for AI. It's where AI is really good. For example, divergence, generating ideas. It's a perfect use case for an LLM because in that case, hallucination are a feature and not a bug. So you have a different use case. And again, it's a way to first explain to the participants that you can use an LLM for much more than just asking for a question, for asking for an answer. The reflect is a good example. You you ask it about a topic, and it's gonna give you a list of powerful question that you can think about, and it's gonna elevate your thing. So again, these cards are great to first understand that there is a broader way of using the AI than the way that you think at first. And during the brainstorming phase, you can use these cards to trigger much more ideas on how to leverage AI in my work, in their work. So that was the dream card. And then, of course, this tool, it's a tool you can use the right way and you can use the bad way. So this is why I've made the danger zone cards. And these cards, I normally, there are a lot of them, such as do not understanding how it works, data privacy, biases, misuse. I like this one. Hallucinations, of course. And I the same, I don't give them all like that, but sometimes I give them during my presentation. Sometimes I give them when somebody asks a questions. Ask a question. Typical question, somebody asks me about how much conversation you can have and is it going to memorize everything? So I can quickly get to my cards and find the one on the context window, explain how a context window works, and then give the card to the participants, and they keep it on their table like that. So these are the different cards in the card deck, and that there is this very simple mechanism and that is very visual, where you look at input, output, how it goes for the capabilities, and then the different cards for the different tasks. So now, how do you use that in a workshop? You have different kind of activities, okay? You can use them, as I said, in the usually my workshops with these cards are morning and afternoon. Morning, 80% is learning. Afternoon, 195% is brainstorming ideas. And with the card decks, I'm going to give a typical session design, the one that I've been using for my clients, and also a booklet of different activities. Because there is this that I've shown you that are the typical way of using it, but there is also, let me show you, because there is one set of cards that I didn't show yet. So here, these are the cards that I use for the icebreakers to start. So when the participants arrive in the meeting room, they have these cards on their table, just like that. Sorry, like that. And by the way, there is one more card that I added since the last session, co-design session. And I asked them to order these cards from the widest to the narrowest. So obviously, this one is easy, artificial intelligence. And these two, they never know the difference between machine learning and deep learning. And transformers, they absolutely don't know what it is, but as it looks weird, they generally put it at the right place. But again, it's a great way to start the discussion at the table. So that's one type of activity. I'm not going to detail how it works, but that's one type of activity that you can do. There is the one with the mat when you can create the different combination. And by working the different combination, it's going to give you ideas and you write down the ideas on post-it notes. And there is what I call the dream matrix, where you put the dream cards like that. So you do a column with the dream cards. By the way, it's dream. So there is not enough place on the screen, but you put all the dream cards like that. And on the other axis, you put the activities so if these are marketing people, I would ask them to brainstorm their typical activities and then to separate, to create a kind of process map. And I would put the different steps of their process as here, and then it creates a matrix. And when you combine, what can you do to reflect on the step 3 of my marketing activity? It's going to give you ideas on how to use AI. So this is another way of using the card deck. Okay, so that was the first part of my presentation. This is where I wanted to show you the card in itself, in themselves, the card deck in itself, how it works, the mechanism, the combinations, etc. Do you have, before I move on to the next part, do you have any questions about this deck? Any surprise, any suggestions, whatever?
I cannot find the raise hand button. Okay, so let me just go quickly. I was wondering about the time frame. So, for example, the last activity you showed, is it a 2-minute thing or it go deep? It takes half an hour to play it through.
I'm going to answer it depends, Said. You can really design the way you want. As I said, I've done it already 4 times, and I'm preparing a 5th time that is very different. And most of the time, it was half a day for the learning part and half a day for the workshop brainstorming part. And an activity like the one for the dream matrix, you need time for, if you really want to diverge and generate a lot of combination and ideas and tasks like that. And then you need to converge. So it's at least 1 hour on the matrix. But the matrix, you don't have to use it each time. It's, as I said, it's a deck, it's a tool, and it's very flexible. So you can decide which activities you are going to include in your workshop or not. And the one I'm preparing, for example, it's only 2 hours. Okay? It's 2 hours. It's 300 people, 50 card decks in the room, and it's only 2 hours. So I'm going to go very quickly on the fundamentals. It's going to be 45 minutes on the fundamentals. I'm going to explain, but it's very important that they get the right mental model, that an LLM is just a next word predictor. It's not a reasoning machine. It's just something that predicts the next word. So they're going to get the fundamentals. They're going to get the capability, because they don't perceive the capability. They might know some of the stuff, but they don't perceive it. So I'm going to teach them that. And then I'm going to do a very quick brainstorming, something like 30 minutes by table, where they're going to create some different combination. And each time they get a combination, they write down a post-it note. And the idea is that they generate 10 post-it notes per table. With 50 table, that makes 500 ideas.
Are you facilitating that all by your own?
Yeah. I'm used to it. But my expertise since 12 years is to facilitate large group workshops.
Yeah.
I've been doing
I
that.
didn't know that. So I'm pretty impressive.
That's a
Yeah.
physical meeting, Alex?
In fact, it's even more complex. It's an hybrid meeting. I have 300 people in person and 60% remote. But I'm going to ask the help of someone to do the remote part.
Yeah, the moderate. Wow.
Yeah, that's gotta be, you're going for gold there. Wow. That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can
Okay.
tell you that the revenue associated with these 2 hours is going to be really great. So it's going to be very, but it's normal because it's going to take me a lot of time to prepare to make sure that it's run very swiftly, seamlessly. So that's why it's only 2 hours, but it's a lot of prep to make it right.
Yeah, good chance. And they all have very basic level knowledge of AI?
We've discussed that with Curtis he's also in the club yesterday. There are so many codir and committees and managers and big boss have still no clue on how
Yeah.
they are going to use GenAI. And this card deck is the perfect answer to that. You could show some slides, of course. So the alternative is that you show some slides and you use post-it note. But then the card deck makes it so more fun, but that's the bad reason. No, it's a good reason, but it's the obvious one. The other thing is going to make the thing much more effective. I can show you some photos.
Okay.
You would see in my workshop people touching the card, giving the card to someone else, shuffling like that, writing the post-it notes. All of that makes it a much better tool than if you use slide and post-it notes. By the way, I also use post-it notes for the ideation part and etc. Or Storms or Miro. The digital part, because there is also a digital version. To be honest, I haven't tested it yet, but I want to build a Miro board because I'm the founder of Storms, but Storms is not adapted to do something like that. So I'm going to use my competitor Miro. So I need to build a Miro board and a Miro template for that. Is going to be also given to the one who buy the digital version.
Please reach out if you have any questions or want to brainstorm.
I would love that.
For the Bureau. Awesome. Because it was my next question, because I do things more virtually. And for card decks in general, let hybrid alone, I was just thinking, do you already have an idea how to combine these things? But
basically, my idea, my first iteration idea, but the cool thing with the digital card deck is that we can iterate. We can create a V1, a V2, etc. So my first idea is just to recreate for each one of the group remotely. So you do breakouts. Each one of the breakouts is going to have their set of cards with a mat like that, and they're going to be able to move the cards and do stuff and do different activities. And also they're going to have a board to post all the ideas, their post-it notes with all the ideas. The other possibility is just to have one set of cards for everybody, and just by looking at the thing and thinking of the combination, it can trigger some ideas on how to use it. So that's my V0 for the Miro template. This is that we can discuss.
I have a point, but I have to look it up because I attended Kat Hayes probably. She also does a lot with cards. And I attended a meeting with her, and I don't know the other guy's name. And the thing was, it's something like the Spotify of deck card decks. It's like a tool that you can use, and it's a library and stuff. I don't know if there are functionalities.
Yeah, I know it.
I forgot the name.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but I know the guy, and I told him that I would contact him again when it's a little bit less hectic on the production side. Yeah.
Just want to share with you that as a solution.
Any other questions or things? Comments? Would you use such a deck?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. I'm doing some AI workshops at the moment, bringing people. I always explain, if you want to use a text editor, you need to learn to type. I'm learning you to type with AI. So we learn people how to use, for example, ChatGPT and other, especially for entrepreneurs, because everybody's looking at it and hardly anyone is using it. But this is making so much more sense to take them to the next level, to explain what's going on, and to What I want to do is to bring the knowledge level of people to the same level in a company, so they can start to innovate and to brainstorm. And this is a perfect tool for that.
Excellent.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, I've seen it in action. I have to tell you, so I created this card deck, the first version, very quickly for a client because I was crazy enough to say, yeah, it's in 10 days. I'm going to make a card deck. So I created the card deck and I printed it, the first version, just like that. And in my head, it was a prototype and I could do it because it was with a very loyal client. And in the first minute, I knew that it was working great because I saw the experience in the room and I saw that it instantly caught off. Anyway, what time is it? It's 31. Okay. So I also want to share. So I want to build this project with a community. So there is the digital version that are going to evolve. And there are also these sprint run. I'm going to do one. I'm going to copy it to do one print run, but I don't know if there will be a second one. Okay. Because it's not my job to take care of printing stuff and shipping stuff and doing something like that. Maybe there will be one, but I'm not sure. And also the idea is that I'm going to limit to a certain quantity because otherwise I won't be able to do anything else. So I'm going to limit it to about 100 customers because one customer is one shipping address. Yeah. Let me maybe share. I'm going to try to share the web page, and I'd like to have your point of view on the pricing model, the everything model. So let me share. Yeah. So obviously, the co-design session that we are doing today is going to be the last one before the print run. So for me, the way I see this tool is I don't see it as a card deck. I see it as a tool to sell GenAI workshop to my clients. And this is what I put in front of my landing page because I guess it's a huge business opportunities for consultants and facilitators. And the other thing is that it's so much it's really easy to sell. Once you get the rendezvous with your client, you give it the card deck, they instantly start playing with it. And then the only thing you're negotiating is the next date, the date for the workshop. Yeah. So one of the things we can do as a community is find and formulate all the different activities that we can do with it. I told you about the icebreaker. I told you about the dream matrix. Of course, there is the central activity that is doing the combination around the black box. But this is typically something that we could do is imagine different and share the different kind of activities that we do with this deck. So 3 versions. And it's already the print and play version is already available, and it looks like that. I've just released the new version today. So it's everything. It's on A4 paper, but it works on a letter printer. You can print it yourself if you have a very good printer. I have a laser color printer. It works really great. You print it on thick paper, high quality paper, and it works really well. The only thing, of course, is that you have to take your scissors and cut everything. And yeah, it's a do-it-yourself. I've just added this. That was after. This is something we've added with the first co-design session, empty cards. Also, I've made it easy. Even if you don't cut it perfectly, you won't see everything is the same color, so it's going to be easier to cut. I know this kind of stuff because I've done some print and play before. So you have these new input cards. I've also added one new danger card, which is user experience. And also from the latest version, the first co-design session, we added Oh, no, I forgot to put the card. Okay, there is a new capability card that I need to add. So I need to do a V0.2 now, 0.3. So
Yes,
this
I
is
just,
yeah.
Alex, I just tried to download the sets, but it seems I don't get an email. Is it because I'm already on the mailing list?
Normally you have the link. You have the link also on the web version.
Sorry, I was redirected to Dropbox and I was switching windows too fast.
Okay. But
Sorry.
there might be something I need to make sure that the emails are sent. Yeah, there
But
might be a little
the
glitch.
email is not sent to me.
Yeah, okay. I think it's my fault. I have to admit.
No worries.
Okay, so that's the print and play version. The idea is to get as many people to be able to use it. You can use it with a small team, etc. Then there is, I want to make a little bit of money out of it, quand même. So because I'm giving so many things for free. So there is a start at €9, but it's pay what you can above that for the digital version. And the digital version basically are all the PNG files right now. But again, it's just the beginning. I wanted to give something for now, but I really want to build a Miro template so that it's much easier to use than if you have to create your own templates with all the different cards. And then there is the physical deck, which obviously is my preferred one. This one costs to produce, takes some time to ship. I try to make a good price that is in par with what we see otherwise. And also, I've just had the final quotes from my printer, and the price is really different depending if I have to print 10 decks or if I print 150 decks. So there is an incentive for me to have as many of you to order a physical deck. I'm gonna see if I can do something. Yeah.
I would like to ask in this content, just from my understanding, that it's also all the cards that you have now that would be in the physical deck. It is future proof, right? I don't mean for the next 100 years, but there's nothing that could just change next month and it doesn't make any sense anymore, or there's a card that's obsolete.
That's
more generic or more.
Excellent question. That's an excellent question. I've made this card deck. No, because I've made this card deck exactly. And by the way, everything I teach, when I teach the fundamentals, I teach things that are going to stay current in the next 2 or 3 years. Because the large language models right now, all of them are based on the same neural network architectures that are the transformers, and is not going to change soon. Okay. And every LLM basically is a black box that is a next word predictor based on what you feed it and you feed out. So it's on purpose that this is not going to change in 2 months or in 3 months or even in 12 months. Okay. Except there is a totally new kind of architecture coming in, but I don't believe in that.
In that case, I was just thinking for myself, expandability. So I don't know if there is something, the new thing in 12 months nobody has thought about, that you can just add it to buy 12 new cards as an extra.
Yeah. Okay. And exactly the same conversation we had last time. The thing that could change typically are the capabilities. Okay. So the capabilities cards here, these are the things that can evolve because the large language stay the same, but they add some stuff on top of the large language model. Typically, an example is that ChatGPT is able to generate code on the fly. So you tell it, write me a typical example that I explained. You give it some data as an input, and you want a chart and output. Okay. An LLM doesn't know how to create a chart, but in fact, it knows how to create the code that is using a chart library. So it creates the code and then it sends it to the code sandbox. And this code sandbox is able to create the code on the fly, to run the code on the fly, and then the code is going to generate the chart that is given back to ChatGPT that display the chart. So I don't know why I was explaining that. Yeah, I was saying that the capabilities are the thing that's going to evolve. So we could think of making booster decks every 6 months that adds some another set of 10 cards. And this would be something like 20 euros or 15 euros. I don't know, something like that. Of course, only if there is success to the first sprint run.
Alex, a question, because I love this card deck. Why? Because everybody's looking at AI and say, oh, it looks complex. And when you explain it like that, it really says, oh, there's an opportunity here. That's what I really like about it. And then, but to make sure, because you explain it so smoothly, because I understand this is also targeted at facilitators and consultants. How do you make sure they have the right language and the right vocabulary and the right insights to explain it the way you do?
So, two things. Either you are really good at GenAI, you already know a lot of it, and that when you get the physical deck, I'm going to give you a getting started pack with some session design activities and stuff like that. Okay. And then my business model with this, I'm very transparent. My business model is also to sell the masterclass that goes with it. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you're not good enough in GenAI, my promise is if you're already a consultant, I can teach you everything you need to run these workshops really well. And
All right.
I'm going to give you the AI knowledge. I'm going to give you the facilitation knowledge, and I'm going to give you the marketing resources to be able to do the full thing, which is selling, designing, and facilitating these workshops. And this is what I sell, of course, a little bit more. Yeah. So that would be an
Makes
online
sense.
course and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Makes sense. So there you really get the workshop formats with the content. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
the idea.
Okay.
But it's not, I don't make it mandatory. I know some people would, if you want the deck, you have to buy the course. I don't care. You do whatever you want. You can use the print and play for free. You can use the digital for €9. You can buy my decks and do your own session design and slides, or you can buy my course and you're going to get everything that I've done myself.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. Thanks.
I think but it's your business. Just thinking also be a nice combination of, I don't know, if you already bought the deck, something off for the course or vice versa. If you bought the course or the masterclass, you get the cards for $49 or euros or whatever. It's not a lot. It's just, I think, for promotion purposes. Or
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, it's a good idea.
Package deal.
Maybe to include a deck in the course or
Yeah.
yeah, and I thought about making a small rebate for the course also if you buy the physical deck. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I should act on that.
And another thought is, because I saw it, it's released on April 1st. I'm not sure if any news that you see on April 1st will be taken seriously. I read. Because in April Fool's Day, that's what I said. If I say, oh, Alex is releasing a card deck, so, oh yeah.
Normally I change it because I thought that it was a bad idea to give a very specific date. So where did I say that it's April 1st and not just April?
It was somewhere on the website. I saw April 1st, I think.
Yeah, I need to remove it because I can be late,
This is funny.
No, the course opens on April 1st. Okay, got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but same.
It's a course at your own pace. So you get access to a video library.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my idea because each time I propose a boot camp or with specific dates, everybody tells me, oh yeah, but I cannot, etc., etc. So I've decided that it would be my first video course. I've never done
Okay.
one, but I'm confident I can do it. I've got a lot of materials, etc. And
Okay.
at first, I'm going
That's
to
good.
release the materials progressively and until it's done.
Have you thought about doing, let's say, events like this publicly? So whoever wants to join, understand, watching your talk and understanding the concept of your expertise and seeing the card. A lot of
Yeah,
people do this. It's a little bit half hour of entertainment information, and then there's a segue to, oh, and I'm also selling
yeah,
the cards, of course, and I'm also having the course the way, because people need to know.
yeah. I'm envisioning because I want to do, again, it depends on the success of this stuff. If we are 10 to buy the deck, I'm going to print the 10 decks and I'm going to move on to something else. But if there is success and traction, and I believe there will be because a lot of people are interested. And then I also saw them work so great that, so I want to do monthly Q&A sessions. And the idea is that I will start the Q&A session 10 minutes early or 15 minutes early so that people who don't know the deck will have a quick demonstration. So, any final thoughts? What time is it? 48. Yeah. Suggestions,
And
tips for me?
I just have to agree, because I think, not to you, of course, Alex, but to the point of AI is a complex thing, right? For somebody, even if you know what it is, it's complex. And I think stepping away from the PC and trying to understand it, it makes so much sense. Get out of this whole don't Google it, because then just another medium to understand something that is something digital. I think it's just a nice way to decelerate things, having the haptic features also, especially for this topic. And a lot of people want to understand it, but yeah, start reading articles, watching videos on YouTube, and you get crazy afterwards. So this is a very nice way to get the message out there, I think.
Did it?
You?
The AI card deck from 33A.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think we slightly discussed it a few months ago when you just started with this idea, and then I asked you if this is something next to it or just. But now, as I see it, and I'm not sure if you can confirm, your card deck comes first, and the 33A card deck comes after if they want to go deeper.
Yeah, I agree.
Am I seeing that right?
Yeah, I agree because their card deck is for design sprints.
Mhm.
So you're supposed to have an in-depth look at the process and look at the opportunities to develop AI products or whatever. Also, it's not only GenAI. So yeah, it could come next or it could be done differently. I think that the main target for my deck, the GenAI Card Deck, the typical use case is the one that I've been discussing with many other facilitators and consultants, is that a lot of companies, a lot of teams don't know where to start. They are a little bit afraid. They know that they must do something. So it's a way to kickstart a thinking process. It can even be in big companies that have big AI initiatives, that you want to do something with your own team, your 10 people team or your 20 people team, and you want them to get up to speed to get the right mental model so that then they can use the AI the right way. So yeah, I think it's
that mental model. What is it? It's not just, it's no magic.
yeah.
It's
And
just the next word predictor.
yeah,
But nobody understands that.
no.
It's just that there are some, but 95% of people do not. And a few weeks ago, I was asked to give a presentation for some organizations in my village in Belgium. It's FEDM, a women's organization, KWB, men's organization, the farmers organization. Tell us, what is AI? And I was explaining to them with some examples, some local examples, some people in the neighborhood who are using it, some companies who are using it. And everybody was, whoa, it's like magic. No, it's not. And I think if I can do some kind of workshop with them with this model, with the physical cards, then it's, yeah.
This is
Sure,
a danger zone. If people don't understand, don't have the right mental model,
Yeah.
you see, I've exactly what you said. AI is not magic. Understand the
Yeah.
fundamentals. Remediate by encourage continuous AI education. By the way, that's another activity you can do with the deck. Just take the danger zone cards, and brainstorm a risk analysis and make an action plan. Here, that would be train everybody to GenAI.
Yeah. And it's, I think if you can, I'm gonna buy your card deck anyway. I'm gonna print it as well. And I'm gonna do some kind of workshop with the organization because I sold my presentation, they paid for it, but this is the way I want to explain things to them. This is something I can put in my backpack and I can just walk into any company and say, you know what AI is? No, you don't. This is what AI is. And if you want to know more, this is something, it's just basic knowledge. And I think
and then it might be an opportunity to sell more trainings to the same team.
Yeah, well, that's next.
This is why I say it's a huge business opportunities for consultants, is that you sell the GenAI workshop with the card deck to one team. They're going to speak to another team. The manager is going to speak to his co-manager and he's going to get back to you. I want the same workshop. So just this workshop, if you're in a big company with the same kind of culture and state of advancement, you could sell 10 workshops to 10 different teams.
What is your pricing model in this? If you want to share it.
Mine? Yeah. Yeah, my typical fee for a one-day workshop with a card deck is 7K.
It's
7K. 7K
7K.
euro. Yeah, 7K euro. It's my normal fee for a workshop. The cool thing about this one is that I don't have a lot of prep because
that makes this. You have the knowledge, you have the card deck, you can just walk in and make 7,000 euros.
Yeah, I have the knowledge. I have the slides because I need some slides at the same time. There are some stuff that I explain with slides. I do a combination of slides, whiteboard, cards.
Yeah, it's in just.
But it's because I've been explaining this stuff for full time for 12 months now. So I'm very at ease. So if you're not as at ease than me, which is not your case, by the way, but which might be the case of a lot of people who buy the card deck, this is why I'm doing the course and also the Q&A sessions and stuff like that.
Yeah, but in your case, you did the work, and if you do it 10 times or you do it 100 times, doesn't matter to you. It's no extra prep. It's no.
Yeah. You have to adapt.
It's every. Yeah, sure, you have to adapt, but the first session is always the same, I believe.
The only thing, for example, I always add a presentation. So today I didn't show the session lab that I did for it, that they're going to be an official session lab. There is always a part dedicated to the AI initiative in the company because there are always AI initiatives, but the guy in the room, they are not really aware of what's going on. So you need to have this presentation and maybe have a quick discussion and then maybe adapt. There are some stuff that may be out of scope, some ideas that they don't want to get into. So you have to adapt a little bit. Also, you have to adapt if you have half a day and not one day. You have to adapt if you have 50 people and not 10. So quick adaptations.
Yeah.
Anyway, feel free to reach out if you have some ideas. Have a look at the print and play version and tell me if you see some typos or stuff like that. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, but another activity is that on the back of each card, there is a question. So you could also, I've never used them, funnily enough, but you could run an activity by asking them to read the question and reflect on the questions. So yeah, if you see some stuff, reach out. Also, as I said, the more we are to order, the more I will be able to lower the printing cost, which means more margin for me. But also, if I can get to 150 decks or something like that, I will make the decks, the price of a deck lower, so that we can share the benefit of it.
I saw someone about a card deck a few weeks ago. He was talking about it. It was actually a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
And he got it found. It was about something totally different, or one of his frameworks or whatever. But it actually got, I don't know, Kickstarter works, but it got the money he needed to get it out there, and it worked out. Just early bird something, or early supporters, or how just to get the thing rolling and sharing the word, and everything is promo and everything.
Said, for example, if you could do something on your newsletter for me, that would be great.
Always, of course, I will. And there are also people who are collecting card decks. I know people who have hundreds. They never use them, I think. They see something, I don't have this one, and then they put it. There's a real community of card deck users, independent of the topic. It doesn't matter if it's Ask Rachel Davis, for example, or Kate, or there are other people I know. Okay, they have full shelf of hundreds of card decks, because it's a kind of a thing for them to have them all. So it's not only about the topic sometimes. Yeah, you probably do.
But you know what? I'm going to make some exclusive cards. Only 15 units in the world.
Yeah, or the hand signed by you, the first one.
It's wrong.
Okay, no, yeah, Kickstarter was one of my options, but it's too complex to organize. You have to do all the marketing, stuff like that. Let's dream. Let's imagine that this card deck is a huge success. Maybe the second version will be a Kickstarter, and maybe I'm going to hire a designer to redo the cards or whatever. But
may I just ask for, should you print the first, let's say 100 first and then sell them, or is it pre-sale and then see how many people will buy and then print them?
No, I pre-sell and then I print.
Okay.
Because we are speaking of small quantities. If it's 100 decks, my printer, my local printer 10 kilometers away can print that in the next week. So not a problem. We are not speaking of 10,000 decks.
Not yet. Not
Yes.
yet.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you so much for listening to the strange French guy and for giving me your suggestions and advice. Of course, if you want to share the word, be my guest. If you want to like my post about it or do a post about it, be my guest too. Maybe I can ask you, I'm going to make a quick screenshot of you. Can I do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Done.
Should I look excited?
You look perfect.
Thanks.
Okay, let's keep in touch. You should be on my email list. You're going to get all the information you need. And again, reach out at any time. And thank you so much for this session. Have a good one.
Thanks. Good luck.
Yes.
Thanks, Ale.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Enjoy the weekend.